he's at the piano being a penis.
Oh, welcome to We're Not Critics, the show where two people watch movies and talk about them. We're not fancy reviewers. We're not filmmakers, although AJ is working on 2 screenplays.
I'm almost done with one of them.
Yeah, we just happen to like to watch movies. But we also hate ourselves because we watched all 3 50 Shades of Grey movies. God damn it. Ugh.
It's Melanie's fault.
Okay, I have a little backstory on this. I was thinking about this. To be a good writer, it helps to read.
See bad writing?
Well, to read. And I mean, I love to read anyway. But sometimes when you need a little motivation, you read something bad, just maybe just to make yourself feel better. Like, if this can get published.
No, you're not putting those in my butt.
Then, as my mother used to say when she'd see somebody get married, she'd say to me, see, there's someone for everyone. So, sometimes I read a bad book, maybe just to make me, like, hate revenge write something. Like, I'm gonna fucking write this better than you. But I was really curious, too, because everybody was raving about it. Not in a great way, but, like, it's so popular. E.L. James is a millionaire, probably a multi-millionaire from these awful books and the movies. So, I want to turn into a supervillain and take out my revenge on the world just because that exists. So anyway, I actually bought the book used from Amazon and I read it. And God, it was painful. Because sometimes, like with movies, with guilty pleasure stuff, that's fun. It's stupid and it doesn't take as much brain power. But when you're reading, it hurts my brain. Like it's clunky and it's difficult and just the choices.
Don't be ridiculous.
And I do want to make the distinction of I'm not really criticizing the content itself. Like the BDSM relationship, that's a legitimate thing. Some people are into it and that's cool.
Not the way it's shown in the movies.
No, of course not.
No, the way it's shown in the movie is really terrible and offensive to people who are actually in that community. But okay, like with Twilight. I love vampires. I'm fine with that as a content idea. The execution was terrible. It is terrible writing. So same with this book. It's not like, ooh, you're a prude, blah, blah. No, it has nothing to do with that. I think the subject matter is fine. But the way it's executed is so terrible and so egregious, and the writing is awful. How are people just all like the masses of people, are they all just that dumb?
I mean...
And it's not like, oh,
McDonald's.
Yeah, I guess
it's
so.
McDonald's.
And I know somebody might be like, oh, you're just a hater, you're jealous. Yes, I am jealous that this person is a multimillionaire off her shitty writing. And also, oh, you're no fun. You know, I like fun stuff, but it fucking hurts my head to read
that
bad
sell
writing.
The most are not the best things.
I know.
McDonald's sells the most. This is McDonald's.
Okay, and it's not like I'm sitting around reading Oscar Wilde all day.
Except I will say, McDonald's has better quality food than this has anything.
I will eat a McRib every day if it takes away E.L. James' money that she made off this book.
Anyway,
so I read the book and it was awful. And then I wanted to see the movies. But, and I got rid of that book. And I have since bookmarked some from the library. I'm going to listen to the other 2 books because out of morbid curiosity. But that's just the bad writing makes me angry. And also, okay, publishing is a big very gatekeepy industry. They keep out a lot of people of color. They keep out a lot of marginalized voices for what sells. So they'll have shitty celebrity memoirs and crappy diet cookbooks and stuff like this because they know it's going to make money. They're not publishing good books. So, you know, if a traditional publisher rejects you, don't take that as meaning that your book is bad. It just means they don't think it'll make them money. So anyway, I was hoping the movie would be like a guilty pleasure, because when you watch a movie...
I think I always knew this was going to be a hate watch.
I knew it, yeah, it was a hate watch. And the first movie was the worst one, I think, in terms of the writing was the worst, and the characters were the most hateable.
What? No. Wait. No.
Although I hated Christian through the whole thing.
Mm-mm. Christian was the most hateable in the first one. Anna was the most hateable in the second one.
Okay, Anna was dumb as shit in the first one.
Although... Okay, gotta give a little bit of a compliment to the girl who plays Anna.
Dakota Johnson?
Yeah, because I believe her. Like, she seemed like the naive,
just kind of nice,
whatever type of
dumb,
chick she was supposed to be. In the first one, I don't know if I'd say she was any good in the other ones. I mean, she was probably fine. Her acting was fine. It's fine.
It seemed like the
first
character...
one, I'm giving her more credit because she had so little to work with.
Yeah, and they really, and I remembered the book, so there were lines from the book like, oh, you're biting your lip. You know what that does to me.
You're biting your lip. You're biting your lip. You know what that does to me. Turn around.
And just the terrible writing. So, but then, okay, the choices that they make of the whole, the big notorious thing is he wants her to be his sub, enter into a BDSM relationship, and he wants her to sign this contract.
But it's like all day long. That's not what that is.
Yeah, he wants her, okay, the control thing really bothers me, and this thing is just like toxic red flags everywhere.
Which is the part where it doesn't represent what it's referencing.
No, and like in the BDSM community, it's very much like respectful of both parties, and you make sure you communicate. And with this one, he's just like, I want you to eat from a prescribed diet. In the book, he has her go to his apartment, has a gynecologist come over in an unsterile environment to examine her and put her on birth control pills, which he thinks work immediately because he's just like, I don't like condoms. So, okay. Also, that's not how birth control works. He's just okay. Anyway, so really problematic things of control, and Anna's just like, she's hesitant the whole time, but she keeps going back to him.
But she's obviously, this is where it's
she's
like,
just blinded by his money, I guess.
She's a moron for thinking. Look, okay, I'll walk back a little bit. No, she's a moron. But just to the women, this is to me what I think is the sell for this series, because it doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. It's so obviously he's evil that I think that the sell is the changed him thing. Because women seem to be very into the thought of I'm gonna change him.
I'm gonna be the special one who changes.
I'm gonna make him a good one.
Yeah,
because it's me.
So
quit looking for that.
Yeah, and also maybe I've been that person too, or there's somebody who says, I don't want a relationship. I don't want this, and you think, aha, but I'm special. Yeah. No, nobody's special.
I know I'm mansplaining, but just give up on that concept altogether. I'm not saying everybody does it. I'm not saying a lot of women do it. I'm just saying there are those people that for some reason think okay, I just have to chisel them into the shape. Fuck that. Go find the right shape.
Are you pointing at me because I'm the right shape?
I don't know. It's not over there.
Hey!
Well, this is what I don't know. I unintentionally, subconsciously?
There.
Anyway, so, find the correct shape. Stop trying to, I'll just chisel it down to the right.
Yeah, so he doesn't respect the whole BDSM thing where he doesn't respect her boundaries. And they also do a lot of sex before she never signs the contract. And so I'm like, he said he wasn't going to touch her, and then he immediately does. And you can tell by the music and everything. And they do this all through all three movies as like, ooh, this is supposed to be a good thing. No, it's not. Okay, some of the things that bothered me the most about, and then this happened in the book too, so source material, is that one of the most troubling things is they just kind of started going out. And she tells him, I'm going to Georgia to see my mother. She lives in Seattle. So, it's a big trip. It's cross country. They're at his parents' house, and they walk out. He picks her up, throws her over his shoulder, spanks her butt, and says, I am palm-twitchingly angry. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? Okay. And he was so mad that she didn't tell him. And this plays throughout, she doesn't, if she doesn't ask him permission for something, if she's talking to a man who's not him, he gets very threatening.
Yeah.
Scary threatening. And that bothers me a lot. What is the appeal about this guy? He's okay looking. I remember a woman at work was talking about how cute he was. She's like, oh, he's my Sancho. I'm like, you need to find a new Sancho. Jamie Doran, whatever his name is, he looks fine. But, and bullshit, he's supposed to be 27. But, okay, everything Christian does is just here's money. Let me blind you
every
by
time
money.
he tries to impress her or convince her of something, it includes fuckloads of money. Which, I get it, the character is a billionaire. Are you not going to use that? Yeah, don't use that. Maybe he has a nice home.
Elon Musk and he lives in a tiny home. I don't know.
He has a nice home and there's, things that are perks. But, every single thing. He has no personality outside of that.
Yeah, okay, he does things like sell her car without her permission.
Which it was a nice classic Beetle. That's not something you just What if it was the first car she ever got from her dad, or whatever, like first car she bought for herself? She obviously took care of it. It's classic.
Okay, like...
So you don't just fucking randomly... Also, that's her shit.
It's so disrespectful. And there's a thing in the second movie that really bothers me. But it's like, okay, this condo that we live in, this was my first home. I bought it with my own money. Nobody helped me. It's special to me. It probably won't be my forever home. But if somebody came in and like, hey, baby, I want to take care of you. I sold your condo and bought you this mansion. I'd be like, fuck you. Yeah, that's mine. Maybe I wanted to move out of it, but you don't get to make that decision for me. So he
also,
sells her car.
Where they move to. He does that in the third one. He buys her house without asking her if she actually wants to live in it or where or anything.
Just as luck she does. But anyway, okay, so there's 3 movies. So you know, as much as you yell at the TV, she's going to keep taking him back. Now, at the end of the first movie, she does break up with him because he goes too far with the stuff. And she's like, this is disrespectful. This is not cool. And you're not being respectful. And I like that she called him out, but it took a whole movie for her to do that.
All right.
This is not romantic. And this is not love.
I just realized there's one thing that I'm sort of okay with over the course of the 3 movies. Don't watch all 3 of these fucking movies. Don't watch one.
If you hate yourself, I guess don't do it.
Okay. She does sort of accidentally kind of teach him how BDSM is supposed to work.
Yeah, because I think in the second one he goes, I'm not a dom, I'm a sadistic asshole. I'm like, thank you.
So he admits, he's like, I'm not even doing it right. But hold on. This is how she teaches him how to do it right. He misses the mark a few times, but when she gets more comfortable, she starts bringing it up. Okay, cool. So they do things, and she's fine with it. And when he does things that she's not okay with, she calls him out, and it's like, you were doing that to abuse me emotionally, so that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then they talk about, okay, that part, if that all happened in the first movie where it should have happened, okay.
No, but it moves so quickly. And one more thing about the first one, then we can move on to the second one. So back to the thing where he's palm-twitchingly angry about, which I think is funny, but it's also like, this is, okay, if I just started dating somebody and they get palm-twitchingly angry at me because I said, I'm going to go visit my family, which I had planned before I met you. And so then what does he do? He shows up at the hotel or the resort or whatever she and her mom are staying, takes her off to her room and fucks her while her mom is still downstairs. Yeah. And just completely...
The amount of control.
Yeah, and that's gonna come back up, and the irony is lost on him of what he did. So... I hate these movies. I hate Christian Grey so much. God. I started to be like Team Anna later. She's dumb and annoying, but I started to really empathize with her throughout the movies.
I'm never on her side.
Although there were a couple of times I was like, yes, girl, yes, do this.
The first one, okay, she's kind of naive, so I'll forgive her a little bit for being dumb. And she leaves before it's totally foregone. Okay, fine, cool. As soon as there's a sequel...
Takes him back immediately. So the sequel, her guy that she has friend-zoned, which is fine. You know, if you friend zone somebody...
she just has to keep bringing him around.
Like, hey, come hang out with me and Christian. Like, no. Okay, so Jose, I think, is doing a photography exhibit. And he had taken some pictures of Anna and blew them up to, like, 6 feet tall.
Without her permission.
She didn't know, so...
Which she was annoyed with.
I would be, too.
Yeah, fine. But she's not the same level of angry with Christian when he does even more controlling things.
Well, that's what Jose...
Like,
okay, and
he shows up and buys every one of them.
Of course. So he buys, and it's just like, oh no.
Which, how did he even know?
Because
he must have been stalking her or her friends.
He's a king stalker. I mean, she finds out later, he keeps dossiers on...
everybody.
The women he wants to be his sub. And so Anna's kind of coming into her own. She has a job at a small... independent press, which maybe they're actually publishing some good books, unlike some of these big traditional publishers.
Or what E.L. James was publishing.
Yeah, there was one that was like Purgatory. It was like, this book is like Dante's Inferno. I'm like, are you just saying that to make you sound smart?
There was a weird thing. It's like a cross between this and Dante's Inferno. I was like, that's not
Is it really?
Any sense.
Okay. But anyway, so she's kind of coming into her own. Her boss is a douche. And then Christian is inserting himself, no pun intended, into every part of her life. He buys her a new computer. He, the first time, buys her a new phone, which, I mean, I've already got my phone.
Buys
Fuck
every
off.
portrait of her that her friend made without him asking.
Yeah,
because
so
he
it's
doesn't
just,
want anyone looking at her.
It's everything is all these men trying to control her. We find out later her boss is a jerk, but at one point she goes to a happy hour. She's just talking. Christian shows up. This, like, we're going another time. He decides when they leave. So, okay, I hate Christian probably the most in this movie.
I hate him the most.
The third movie was really...
I don't know. I hate him pretty equally everywhere. I hate her most in the second movie because she starts to call him out on everything. Every time he does a thing that's stupid and controlling, she starts to call him out. He gets her bank information.
This is the thing.
And pays her.
Oh my God.
And she's like, no, that's not all right. Like, how do you get that? And then cut.
Yeah, okay, so backstory on that.
She forgives him every time.
So, and have I been in some toxic red flag relationships? Yes, but not to this level. I eventually got out. Thank you. Thank God I'm out of those situations. So, okay, with this thing, there was back to selling the car. I think he wanted to give her a check for what he sold her car for, and she just tears up. She's like, no, I don't want it. And so he calls his assistant or somebody, says, transfer $24,000 into Anastasia Steele's account. And I'm like, just by name. No bank, no account number. So I'm just sitting there screaming at the TV the whole time. How does he have her bank account information?
Because he bought the business she works at, so she's his employee.
No, but here's the thing. Oh, yeah, that sounds great. He can put all this money in your account. If he can put money in your account, he can take money out of your account and make you financially dependent and destitute if things go south, which they do in this movie over and over and over. So she's trying to come into her own. Her boss sexually harasses her, and so she knees him in the balls, which is great. And Christian gets him fired.
Tiny thing.
Yeah.
Movies, stop pretending that little bitty girls can just knee a guy in the balls and he will fall over and she is saved.
She needed to, add an elbow or something.
She needed to do...
Stomp his
fight back,
face.
cool. I just wish it was a little more realistic. I'm not saying that a woman could not fight her way to freedom, and that first thing, get him away and run. Because, outside is right there, and there are people there, and those people will hopefully help. But stop doing the, I need him in the balls. Yeah, he's going to get real angry about that.
And kick him in the face. So anyway, that was actually, upsetting. So they handled that well. But for the rest of this movie, Anna's kind of like she's trying to assert herself and speak up for herself, but every time...
She just takes him back.
And he's such a child about it. He's such a petulant child about it. And another thing that happens in the second movie, he keeps throwing Mrs. Robinson in her face. So if you don't know the backstory on that, the character is played by Kim Basinger. He kind of has his kink fetish because...
He was molested at 15.
Yeah, he was molested. His mother's good friend started a sexual relationship with him.
Well, it wasn't molestation. It was full-on rape. So.
Yeah, it was. And just because a boy does it doesn't mean it's not molestation or rape or any of those things. It was wrong. It was child abuse. And they kind of...
we're still friends. No.
Yeah, which, some people have abusers who are family members, and they keep relationships.
But they shouldn't.
No, but I don't want to judge people who are in those...
I'm not judging. I'm just saying you should not have a relationship with those people.
Okay, let's just say it's like a toxic parent or a grandparent. You are well within your rights to say, no more, we're not speaking, goodbye. I am granting you that right.
I'm not saying it's not difficult. Just don't do it. Don't have anything to do with them.
But he does it in we're in business together. He takes Anna to a salon to get her hair done, and she's there he's consulting with her on all the women he dates. And then meanwhile, speaking of his subs, this kind of crackhead-looking girl shows up every once in a while. Leela.
Anna.
Oh, yeah, she knows her name. So we get a little more peril in this movie. One is that Christian's in a helicopter crash, but then he's fine immediately.
It was very dumb for that to be in there.
I wish he died in that crash.
I think they just thought they'd have,
drama.
I guess.
I'm guessing this happens in the book.
I don't think so. I think this is the one thing that didn't.
Oh, okay.
That's just if I recall, but I don't know.
You know, what would be the best thing is if he died in that helicopter crash, but his assistant would be fine.
Yeah,
she's
which
innocent.
They retroactively go it was sabotage.
Well, that happens in the third movie. So we watched the second and third one back to back. So yeah, he walks out of a helicopter crash fine. But then...
Like, he seemingly literally walks all the way home.
Yeah, okay, and then at the end, oh God, the worst part, he proposes. And she says, yes, God damn it! Girl, you almost got away! And he's gonna get you. So that's what these guys do. Having been love-bombed and pulled into toxic relationships before, they try to get you real fast. Tell you how beautiful and perfect you are, and oh, let me show you the world, let me romance you. And so they get you.
Why are you
They
ruining
snatch you
Aladdin
in.
like that?
Yeah, fuck Aladdin. I'll show you the world. No, that's love bombing. That is love bombing,
He's one of
Aladdin.
the good
Jasmine,
ones.
run.
one
Run,
of the good
Jasmine.
ones.
He's love bombing you. So
Is
anyway.
this a Beatles song? You better run, little girl.
Yeah, run for your life if you can, little girl.
Yeah.
So anyway, he asked her to marry him, and she says yes, because she was so scared she was going to lose him in the helicopter crash.
But maybe that's why they put it in. Like, they needed a reason to, like, explain why she
Yeah.
would suddenly change her mind. Because in the third one, she keeps pointing out these giant gaping issues. I'm like, why
Thank
didn't
you.
ask them
Well, okay, so we go to the third
before
movie.
you got married?
Wedding, immediately they're married. They go on a picture-perfect honeymoon in France. Okay.
And a nude beach for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's a thing in Europe.
So,
So,
well, okay, it's fine. It's just that Anna is so committed to it, it's weird. It's so out of her character.
well, she's really trying to push boundaries and stand up for herself. Like, she doesn't, okay, she takes her top off at a nude beach, and he's kind of weird. He's, upset about that,
yeah,
which
he's
is a little,
angry.
that's a little understandable, but one of the troubling things is she still works. She got a promotion because her boss got fired, and she never works, but whatever.
Oh god, the nepotism.
But her email was like Anastasia Steele at sip.com, whatever it was. And her assistant says, hey, do you want me to change it to Anna Gray? And she's like, I think I'll keep my name
Yeah,
Steele
for
at
her
work.
own business persona.
So Christian shows up and he just says, hey, the email I sent to Anastasia Gray bounced like it doesn't exist. And he's so threatening and
he
scary
had
about
just-
it.
He just intimidated a random author that she had to work with.
Yeah.
Because he's, oh, that's a good looking dude. Okay, go suck his
Okay.
dick.
Yeah.
What do you
God.
want? Like,
This
I
remi-
swear, and it's fine if he is, but he needs to just deal with his issues. Go to therapy. I think Christian might be a closeted gay.
I don't know about
Because he has so much tension around every other man that exists.
But in like
I'm just saying.
the guy in the Second Land of the Lost book where he was admiring all the good looking men?
No, that
Or-
was bad. That was written back in a time.
Land
when,
the Time Forgot, sorry.
That was written back in a time when men, I guess.
Admired muscles
Yeah,
and
they
strong
were like,
specimens.
I admire a strong dude.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
I
but-
don't think Christian's gay. I think
I think
he's
he might
fucked
be.
up.
I just don't think he's good at it.
He's fucked up from being molested when he was 15, and he's fucked up because his mom was into crack, and he she died, and he was with her body for 3 days. His father was
But
abusive.
he knows about therapy because he sent the crazy girl there.
Yeah, okay, so things happen, and then he's just these red flags of these really scary, and she's like scared when she goes out to have a drink with one of her friends, and her security guys, or that's in the third one, but she gets scared because Christian finds out. You should never be scared unless you did something really bad, like you stole all their money, or you did a drug deal, or you killed somebody, that you should never be afraid when your spouse... Oh, we are talking about the third one. Okay, I'm getting them all mixed up.
Because it keeps happening.
Yeah, because this keeps happening. But you should never be afraid of your spouse. And that really makes me sad watching these movies because she's afraid of him.
And then she
And I
gets
hate
pregnant
that.
and he blames her.
Yeah, that was awful too. So she gets pregnant.
How could you do this to my business? Like,
Well, his thing, this is even creepier. It wasn't so much like, oh, we can't jet set all we want. He was like, I don't want to share you with anybody. You're going to love the
Yeah.
baby more than me, which I've heard of that, happening.
it's already weird
Oh,
that
we were going to
he-
do all these things together.
It's already weird that he admits that he likes... I don't know what you even call it, sadist stuff. He likes doing sadist things to women that look like his mom.
Well, Anna called it out because she had a stalker named Leela, who was one of his subs, shows up at her apartment and tries to shoot her, and he just goes in and kneel and pats her head or something and calms her down, and she is never seen
Which,
again.
hey, use your superpower however you got to in a moment of crisis.
And then Anna's just like, wait a minute, because she sees a picture of his mom, and she just flat out says, she's like, you like to punish women who look like your mother, and he's like,
he kind of calls it out though. Like she starts the conversation, but he's like, yeah, I like to
So he's
Fuck
got
girls that
some
look like my mom.
Yeah,
Oh, Oedipus, Oedipus, unhappy Oedipus.
it's okay.
Like-
Okay, go to therapy. I've been to I've been to a lot of therapy. Therapy's great. Everybody should go to therapy. Christian Grey needs therapy, and that's fine.
And
It's
he
fine.
said that girl needed mental help, so I sent her to an institution. So obviously he knows he could pay to do it. Like,
In this healthcare system, I don't know. Maybe even Christian Grey couldn't afford it.
The most infuriating thing is that they keep calling out these problems, but they don't.
No, and I
anything.
really
It's almost as if
yeah.
my theory, E.L. James wrote Anna be the liberal arguer or whatever. This is what a liberal would say about this situation, but Christian somehow ends up being right every time.
Yeah,
because she's making good arguments, but they never go anywhere.
no, and I really feel sorry for her when she's pregnant, she's upset, she's scared, she feels unloved, and I'm just like, please, because I didn't know how it ended, so I was like, maybe this is when she leaves him, she has the baby, she's living her single mom best life, living off those child support payments. I wanted that to happen so badly.
It randomly turns into an action movie.
Okay, so her boss from the second movie is out for revenge, and he kidnaps Christian's sister.
He's now a cyber ninja.
Yes, he tried to blow up part of the building, and like, he's a publisher. How did he know how to do this stuff?
And
he supposedly sabotaged the helicopter. Like, how?
So he just happened to have been her boss, and he was just doing his thing,
Harassing women,
living his rapist life.
Yeah.
You know? And the entire time, this didn't matter to him yet. The entire time, he was an orphan that was living right alongside Christian. They didn't go all the way to make it his brother.
I was thinking they were
to.
doing that because he's like, you owe me a life.
Yeah, but his thing was like, we were in the same orphanage, in the same group, and they picked you instead of me, so your life was awesome and my life sucked. Okay, but that didn't happen until he got angry about not having a job. Like,
yeah, I mean, he would say comments to Anna like, "Oh, must be nice to have a rich boyfriend" and things like that.
Christian Grey.
Ooh, Christian Grey. So there was that, and I'm like, we're getting kind of into DC territory with things like that. So then,
a little bit.
kidnapped. She goes and tries to get money, and Christian's biggest concern is he thinks she's taking money out because she's going to leave him, which I was kind of hoping she would do. So in the end, Anna ends up shooting this dude in the knee, which I'm, bitch, yes. Okay, and then this is the part I hate. One of the parts I hate the most. She's in the hospital in a coma for some reason, even though she got like slapped twice and kicked once. Christian was in a helicopter crash, walked home. He wasn't in a coma. Her ass is in a coma. And all of a sudden Christian's like, oh, be careful with her. She's pregnant. Like, oh, now you care? So, yeah, and she wakes up and he's like, oh, I just realized you're the most important thing. And they say these things to each other like, you're my world. You're where my world begins and ends. You're my life. And I looked at AJ and I said, am I where your world begins and ends? And you were like, fuck no.
Nope.
A healthy relationship is when you are a whole person, regardless of who you love. And you are respectful to each other, and you trust each other, and you are whole people who can exist without relying on the validation or the existence of the other one. I think my former therapist would be proud because one time she asked me to define what love is and I couldn't tell her. So now, like Forrest Gump, I know what love is. And what Christian and Anna have is not love.
No, it's so bad. Also, like, okay, they have kids. They have Irish twins or whatever you call it.
Yeah, the baby's born, she's pregnant again.
But okay, that reminded me. So Anna finally stands up and shoots a guy in the leg. That's cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah, she's like,
Christian said,
enough of this.
Bam! And then Christian said the one thing I liked was like, you should have aimed higher. I was like, yes.
But okay, so yeah, she can't be around men that are attractive at all. Like, even if it's just because she bumped into one or because they work together. But he can parade the hottest realtor he can find, or his previous sexual abuser, or
all the women who work in his office are beautiful, and that's it's okay for him to be around all these beautiful women, but if she even sneezes and a nice looking man says, God bless you, oh, she's in big trouble now. She's going to go to the Red Room. Oh, they did miss one good joke.
How tiny is his dick that he's so worried about another dude?
It just must be microscopic. I don't know how Anna even enjoys it. Maybe that's why he needs all the extra, toys. Stuff. So at one point, this is something funny, like a joke they wish they cut away too soon, is that Jack, her former boss, had broken into her apartment. This was before the kidnapping the sister. He holds her at knife point. The security guys take him down, and they get him on the ground. They're holding him at gunpoint, and they're like, oh, we don't have anything to cuff him with or restrain him. And Anna goes, I might be able to find something. And I was like, yes, this will be funny. And so go to the Red Room, get something, and they should have shown him.
Like, if they started comparing, like, are these stronger? Or, like, what's best? I don't know.
Or the security people are like, oh, okay. But they could have really run with that joke. But this happened a lot of times, like with the bank account thing in the second one. It was like, oh, here's an issue, and they cut away.
Yeah.
So we tormented ourselves with these movies, so you don't have to. Or maybe you're curious and you want to watch all of them.
Also, the last scene that gets to be played up like, ooh.
Oh, yeah, you explained that. I forgot about that.
He's at the piano being a penis.
Oh, can I say one more thing? Oh, this made me mad too. So they go off to like a house in the forest, and he's playing the piano, and he's singing Maybe I'm Amazed by Paul McCartney. And the guy has a decent singing voice. That doesn't offend me. It offends me that they have Maybe I'm Amazed in a fucking 50 Shades of Grey movie. How dare you? How dare you think you're even on the same planetary caliber as Paul McCartney?
I don't like the Beatles. I don't care.
This is Paul McCartney's solo stuff before it got cheesy. Whatever, that's a good song. Stop it.
So anyway,
you respect Paul McCartney right now.
Anyway, so he's at the he's at the piano being a penis, and she texts him from the Red Room like,
oh yeah, that's the very end.
Come on, sir, come on and do your thing. And she's in there already. Like she laid out his weird Dom jeans, which. Fuck you. He's wearing like those Tom Hardy's burn a hole in the leg type jeans. Like,
Edward Hardy?
I don't know.
All right.
I'm just saying words. Fuck you, rich boy that never worked ever. Like, go out and wear some jeans for real and make that shit for real. Anyway. So, I don't get it. Like, that's the final scene. Like, that's the heartwarming thing we're supposed to finish with is, like, she's into it now.
Yeah, she's totally into it. And then she, like, looks over her shoulder and they do a montage of all of these, like, heartwarming things.
Like the last Twilight movie.
Yeah, this made me appreciate the Twilight movies more.
I told Melanie before it happened it was gonna, like, at the beginning,
yeah.
I bet they're gonna have this thing where they play a song and they
show, like, good things, but then I said, it's like when, okay, I've been in this situation, you see, like, a Facebook photo of this couple looking happy, but you don't know that maybe he just yelled at her, like, right after they took that photo or something. So that's what I was thinking of, because I was kind of remembering scenes, I'm like, oh, some really awful shit happened around that time. So this is not like when she was dancing in that peach dress, that's when he threw her over his shoulder and like swatted her for saying she was going to go to Georgia to visit her mom. Oh, okay. And one thing I forgot to talk about the second movie is that this is another thing that they kind of didn't take far enough, is that Anna confronts Elena, the woman who molested Christian, and they never at one point, like, I think she said you abused him and stuff. But she's never like, you're a fucking child molester. And she does throw her drink in her face, and Christian's mom slaps her. But they never just like, if I were Christian's mom, ooh, I'd beat the shit out of her and my security guys would make her disappear.
Yeah, they never flat out call her a child molester. They just make her
abuse,
a problematic
sort of,
figure.
Yeah, so they
She literally says, I taught him who he really was.
Yeah. Like what in the grooming... creepy shit is that? So anyway, of course, they end up happy together, and I hate it so much. I hate these characters. Ugh.
I just don't get, like, the appeal. I don't get it.
I don't either. Like, I know I went on my angry tirade at the beginning, and I don't want you to think it's because I'm a book snob or whatever. It's just, it's not well done. It's trash. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why do you like it? If you really like it, let us know.
The only appeal I get is the weird, like, I changed him thing.
I think that's what it is.
The amount of story you have to go through to get there.
Yeah, it's like, here's a hot rich guy, and I changed him, so now I can be the hot rich guy's wife. So, okay, can we move on to recommendations?
Yeah,
Not
fuck.
these movies. Okay, so I have two. I have the show White Lotus. If you want to see rich people getting into trouble. So that's a good one. Seasons 1 and 2 are on HBO. I refuse to call it Max. And then number 2 is this indie movie called Secretary with Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Spader. And so if you want to see two vulnerable, fucked up people in a sort of BDSM relationship, that's a pretty good little movie.
Watch the Magic Mike movies, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, now if you want some guilty pleasure dumb stuff,
Those are funny. Well, the first one's like actually a really good and sad movie.
the second one is hilarious.
That's hilarious. I don't know
Yes.
why there's such a huge difference on tone, but I'm cool with it. It's so funny.
huge being the operative word, if you know what I mean. Okay, wait, let me say how to find us on all the things. So if you want to yell at me for liking your precious 58 Shades of Grey books, whatever, we're on Instagram at We're Not Critics. We're on Spotify and iTunes. We're Not Critics. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. Discord, I think we're still under Movie Pain or Pleasure Podcast, which would have been apropos for this subject matter.
Yeah, this was
But
hate watch. to
yeah,
me.
this is hate watch for sure. And yeah, so anyway, follow us, don't follow us, tell us you like it, tell us you hate it. If you really enjoyed the 50 Shades movie, and not in an ironic way, let us know, because maybe there's something we
Just
overlooked.
and we're assholes, but we don't. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You can like literally anything. Everything you like or you're nerdy about is kind of dumb.
Yeah, okay.
And us too.
One of my favorite podcasters, Michael Hobbs, just at some point he's just like, everybody's hobby is stupid. Everything you do is stupid. So, if you like those movies and you feel like I called you stupid or whatever, I apologize. So, if you like them, fine. I'm angry that there are good writers out there who are not getting noticed, and this piece of shit is getting picked up and sent to the masses.
Yeah, the whole trilogy got made. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so find us on all the things.
And
Go to the Red Room and kneel. Join our cult and be my victim.